Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we revisiting lossless scaling. It had a huge update 3.2. A lot of people are confused about the 3.2 and they all say like, yeah, but I still have lossless frame generation 3.1. That is correct. It is just the naming, in my opinion, is a bit weird. They could have used a different naming for the update because the lossless frame gen is still 3.1. But the app itself, it is 3.2. So yeah, that's the first thing. But I didn't test it out myself yet, so I'm really curious. I did set up the settings already, which I'm gonna use. You guys can just copy it from my screen. I did test it with the older version, and this is, from what I tested, the best settings, at least in the old version. So we're gonna check out if it is still the best settings in this version as well. We're gonna compare it later with Nvidia Smooth Motion and Nvidia frame generation that is built into the game and see what it is compared, at least in Cyberpunk. It is still one of my favorite games to play, so yeah, that's why I tested in it, and also it just looks stunning. Also, if you hear a lot of birds chirping in the background, I have canaries, they're flying around in my house. And yeah, for some reason, today they're really loud. But in my opinion, that's nice. I like canaries. Anyway, before we're gonna make a canary channel, let's focus on the videos. And first I'm gonna show you a little bit how to set it up, because I see some people have issues with lossless scaling and how to set it up. So that's gonna be the first part of the video. If you already know how to do it, just skip actually to the next chapter. So this is basically a little tutorial for lossless scaling. You need two programs. One is lossless scaling. You can buy it off to Steam for like $5 or $7. I paid €7 for it. Totally worth it in my opinion. And you need RTSS. You can bundle it with MSI Afterburner. MSI Afterburner is a free program. And yeah, you can get the RTSS with it. Or if you don't want the MSI Afterburner, just download the RTSS as a standalone and it will work just fine. The reason you want to use this is for the frame rate limiter. I'm gonna explain later how it works and how to use this. So first we need our base FPS. So as you guys can see, our FPS is in the 80s, high 70s, but that's not gonna be the case when I enable lossless scaling. In between I need to switch a scene in my program, otherwise it won't record lossless scaling and then this video would be pretty useless. So yeah, I'm gonna enable lossless scaling now. You can hit scale, as you can see on the top right of the screen, or you can set up a hotkey, and when you press the hotkey it starts scaling. So in my case I'm gonna enable the hotkey, so I enabled it now, and you see the frames going down. I'm gonna switch scene real quick. Okay, the scene has been switched, and now you guys can see that we have 75, 70-ish FPS, and when we run around it is even lower. We're going into the 70s. Also, because of the FPS that goes up and down, it doesn't feel that smooth and it doesn't see that smooth. So how can we solve that? So we're gonna solve that with locking our FPS. You can do it in the game, but I noticed sometimes that works a bit funky. So RTSS, let's go to RTSS. That's right here. We are going here to the frame rate limit. As we see, our FPS is around 70. So let's put it on like a little bit below. Let's put it on 65 because we didn't see it go below 65. We hit enter. Now you see our game FPS is 65, and in the top left corner you see in white 65 and 130. This means that the FPS is locked to 65 and lossless scaling is doing it times 2. you can just copy all the settings I have in lossless scaling. It is the capture API is WGC and the Q target 0, max frame latency on 10. For me this works the best, and I honestly don't feel any latency with my mouse and keyboard. So yeah, you can do this with controller, mouse and keyboard. So this is a little how to set it up. For me at the moment I don't feel any latency, it feels smooth as hell, way better than the older one. But I see we also have a performance mode. So what happens when we hit performance mode in lossless scaling? So let's hit performance, go back to the game. We're gonna unscale. And we're gonna scale again. For me, nothing changed, but we're also gonna try it out with higher frame rates. We're gonna try the ×3 and the ×4 as well. But I'm gonna do that for a side-by-side, so you guys can see that in a second. And then we'll see if it is actually changing something. So this is lossless scaling ×2. I didn't see any artifacting, I didn't feel any input lag, and I play with mouse and keyboard, so yeah, good experience. I would definitely recommend if you don't have any of the other options. ×3, I started to see a little bit of artifacting, and I noticed a little bit of input lag, but I'm sure after 5 minutes of playing you wouldn't notice it anymore. And especially with controller, I don't think you could feel it at all. It is like the bare minimum. ×4, I definitely saw artifacting, and I wouldn't recommend playing with this. And also the input lag, I could feel it more. Like it was still minimum and way better than old lossless scaling, but it is there. Adaptive mode, I put it on 144 Hz to match my monitor refresh rate. And yeah, I didn't prefer it. After ×2 and ×3, the adaptive mode, no, I don't recommend. This is ×2 again with performance mode. I didn't like it a lot for some reason. When I first played it and tested it, I didn't see a difference, but then after a while I saw some artifacting and it didn't feel nice. ×3, you'll see a lot of artifacting. It didn't feel so smooth anymore. Maybe for some people with lower GPUs it would be nice because it releases some GPU usage, but for high-end GPUs I don't suggest this. And ×4, yeah, even more. Like, there's just a lot of artifacting, and it has more artifacting than the basic lossless scaling ×4. So yeah, I suggest to keep it on the normal. Here is the adaptive one with the performance mode on, and yeah, it is even more warping and artifacting, and it also didn't feel really great, honestly. So for everybody interested, this is how we're gonna use smooth motion. If you have a 50 series card, you're gonna go to the Nvidia app, you're going to graphics, you're clicking on cyberpunk, then you go down, like all the way down. Then you see dlss override model presets. Here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the latest frame generation, the latest ray reconstruction. We're gonna use preset K, hit apply. I always have low latency mode on. Then to smooth motion, we're gonna turn it on. The important thing is to do this when the game is not running, because when the game is running, it doesn't work. You need to restart the game. So I prefer to do this before I actually run the game. So yeah, that's basically it. And now you just run the game. So this is the Nvidia Smooth Motion. It had more artifacting. Like, I don't recommend it at all with this game. It does feel nice, it doesn't look nice. So that's a no for me. And here is just the Nvidia frame generation. It feels perfect, it looks perfect. Yeah, between lossless scaling, I didn't see a difference with the basic ×2 with the limiter. So yeah, between the two, both win in my opinion. With the ×3, yeah, I have to give it to Nvidia. It feels good and it also looks good. I didn't see any artifacting at all. But later again, we have slow motions of all of them. But in high speed, normal speed, it's perfect. And the same with ×4. It felt good, it looked good. I didn't have any issues at all. Like no artifacting, no input delay. It's just really smooth, at least in this game. So yeah, this is a comparison without seeing the FPS. Because yeah, with switching. You definitely see artifacting in all the lossless scaling options, except in the frame generation. Here you see clip for clip. So this is the lossless scaling ×2. Like it is really minimum, but in slow motion there is some artifacting. But in normal play, I couldn't see it at all. So unless you're playing slow motion, you wouldn't see it. In the performance one, yeah, we also saw it in the performance one in normal speed. And here you see the slow motion of it, which you clearly see artifacting. And this is the smooth motion one. Yeah, more artifacting that I would like, so I would never play with smooth motion on in this game at least. Yeah, it's just a mess. This is the Nvidia frame generation ×2. I didn't see any noticeable or any artifacting at all. Also with full speed and in slow motion, you will see some minimum artifacting on the edges. This is ×3. Yeah, you will see with lossless scaling in both options, so lossless normal and lossless with performance, you will see artifacting. And with the Nvidia frame generation, you see some on the edges, but not noticeable in full speed. Here again, lossless scaling ×3. We definitely some artifacting, but not a lot in full speed. In the performance mode, we did saw it also a lot in full speed, so I don't recommend it. If you can use normal lossless scaling ×2, I suggest using that. The performance mode, yeah, I didn't see a use for it personally. And this is the Nvidia frame generation ×3. As you guys can see, it is way smoother. And you see some artifacting on the edges, but not noticeable at full speed. Like even in slow motion, you have to look really close. This is ×4, and yeah, I don't recommend ×4 with lossless scaling, at least with a single GPU. Even if you have a beefy one like me, a 5080, I don't suggest it with lossless. So yeah, here you see it in slow motion, the lossless scaling ×4. Yeah, it is just a warping mess. Of course, you will see it more in slow motion, and we don't play in slow motion. But even with the full speed, you could see it. And with the performance one, it is even more. So I don't suggest playing with the performance one unless you need to. Of course, if you need to, play with it. Because playing a game is better than not playing a game. And this is the Nvidia one. Really smooth. No issues. You see some things on the edges, but not like the warping and stuff. And in full speed, you don't see it at all. So yeah, quick recap. Just choose lossless scaling ×2 or Nvidia frame gen ×2, 3 or 4. I don't prefer the performance mode at all, as you guys could see. It has a lot of artifacting, warping. It had some more input lag for some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, ×2 for the lossless scaling normal and the Nvidia. No input lag, no warping, no artifacting. So I suggest you guys use that. It is really amazing how it works. So if you guys liked the video, please subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, put a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!